Now, I understand that you're actually creating curriculums in Lattice Logic for different applications, like for organizations, for children, for families. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we were encouraged because this work is now in Integrative Psychology Institute in Russia. It's also in Complementary Therapy Institute in Israel. It's starting to go into larger educational facilities. But we've developed a program that organizations, businesses, and any kinds of organizations can learn how to work with the focus of their energy through this lattice logic. And we're getting very good feedback. It's all just starting. But the one experience I had was lattice logic for children, where we went to a school in Chile. And we watched the lattice logic program being taught to children. They were about 8 to 10 years old, these children. And they had a lot of energy, and it was everywhere. And we had a 2-day program where we taught them the basics of how to work with holding their energy, organizing their energy, and viewing themselves through this lattice logic. The results were stunning. First, for both my husband Stephen and I watching it, I cried the next day. I was so amazed to watch these children that very rarely stand in line or want to take part in certain things, stand in line at the end of the course, waiting for their turn to work with their lattice. We got to read their little workbooks of what it's conscious intent, but it's conscious intent through their own energy and learning how to focus. It was very touching in the heart. And they were ready. They wanted their workbooks back, and they wanted more, and they wanted to do more. And we found out recently that one of our colleagues went back to the school and taught the teachers the lattice logic for organizations, and they are thrilled with it. It's different. It's about focusing one's energy. It's about learning how to direct it to create those potentials. It's one thing to give intent and to visualize. It's another thing to be able to learn how to work with your energy so that you may accomplish and build the life of your choice.
Now, you know, a lot of people in Sedona do energy work and things like that, but I don't think people really realize that there's a lot of people here in Sedona that are very big in other places. And you've done a tremendous amount of work all over the world, and the EMF Balancing Technique is taught places. And tell us a little bit about how a curriculum was developed for a school in South America.
Well, there were several of my colleagues who started to have this idea to teach children. These are people that I have taught how to teach the EMF Balancing Technique.
And this has been going on for years with this work all over the world.
The
right,
work is 13 years international now, all over the world. And so you've kind of asked me 2 questions here, but I want to say that the program developed out of the strength of the programs we already have. And in energy work, programs has not been the norm. It hasn't been quite the way energy work is taught. And but this particular form of energy work requires a foundation and a program to go along with it. It's really empowered it. It's not my nature to be so organized. I would, in another time, I would say to you, there's no way I would want to learn this kind of work or teach this kind of work this way. But what I've learned is I have much greater freedom. So with all the work we've already done, the development of the program, Lattice Logic for Children, really came together quite easily, because so much has been done and tested to this point. And then we came up with the words and a story and a way to explain this to children. And children are coloring a picture of their golden brain to become familiar with the energy. And they're talking about what it is they want to create and what it is they would like to release. And then they work with this in a very organized manner, and they were able to grasp it and also create those results quite quickly. So the actual course coming together was pretty easy with all of the work we've done. The testing part was, well, will this work? And we've taken it out now several times to test, and it's moving along beautifully. And we're very excited that the teachers, first, when I was there at the school, we didn't arrive with this work saying, oh, we have something that will just show you all what's best to do. There were 2 of the counselors who walked into the class, and I watched the energy of the children respond. Right. The Lattice Logic program for children was developed with colleagues of ours, those who have learned how to teach the EMF balancing technique, and they are also school teachers themselves. They teach children. So we put together a program specific for the children for them to be able to use. These counselors had done such beautiful work with these children. I had to tell them how much I admired and respected them. And it was in a mutual respect that this work was brought into this school, and the children are the ones who benefit. So the work has quite an amazing quality to it, but there is no such thing as any one work, any one way, and I'm very clear about that, and I'm just grateful that this tool is finding its way into places that can be used.
That's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. Families, I would like to make a comment about families. There was a couple that approached us in a country in Venezuela who said, before the EMF balancing technique, and he says, I was so dominating to my family, and they weren't happy. And he said, through this work, I've learned how to work with my energy and how to respect the energy of my children and my wife. And the family dynamics changed, because when you start to look at yourself as energy patterns and you start to look at taking charge of these energy charges, how to focus them and work with them, it's no longer so personal and the results come quickly. So there's a place for this work to go, to be complementary to the changes people are making in their lives now. Mm-hmm.
So that's lattice logic. It's the next evolution in the EMF balancing technique work.